What is good? What is going on, everybody, man? And welcome back to the Pick Six channel. And we are live for the first time in for this off season. I don't know. I feel like I'm sounding a little loud on here. Okay, so breaking news yesterday. The big breaking news before Game One of the NBA Finals was Aaron Rodgers, Ron, going to the Pittsburgh. Now, actually, technically, he hasn't signed yet, from what I understand. Let me fact check that, but he hasn't signed yet. Anyways, Rod going to the Steelers. He has informed the team that he will be going to Pittsburgh. Um, I'm not sure if he was supposed to sign today or next Friday because it just said Friday. And they said that yesterday, so I don't really know exactly what that meant, what they meant by that. But anyways, yes, he's going to be on the team. And for those of you who didn't know, I was one of the people that was not for this at all. Okay. I've been saying this since January, since the end of the season for the Steelers, that they shouldn't get Aaron Rodgers. Why should they? He's an aging quarterback. He's 41. He'll be turning 42 in December. His age seems like it's starting to show. All right, at least last season, he had everything he wanted. Everything he wanted in New York / New Jersey with the Jets. Everything he asked for, he got. And it didn't work. So how or why would it work with the Steelers? That's my point of view on this whole situation. If it didn't work with the Jets, which I get it, it's the Jets. It's like they're cursed with quarterbacks and things of that nature. No quarterback does good with the Jets. But now he's going with the Steelers, and since Big Ben, every quarterback that's been with the Steelers has not panned out either. That's just straight facts right there. All right, so do I think that they'll end with the losing record? No, I don't. I don't think they're going to be terrible, which honestly is probably not a good thing. It's not. I was completely fine with them just tanking. I thought that would have been beneficial. I still do think that would be beneficial for the Steelers if they have a down season. But apparently, I guess they're still trying to win, but they've made some really questionable they've done really questionable things so far in this free agency and offseason, like trading away George Pickens after you got DK Metcalf. That was a little weird to me. Since you feel like you're in this win now situation, right? You feel like, okay, you have this 2-year span where you're going to try to get Cameron Hayward a Super Bowl ring before he retires. Why are you going to take away one of your best offensive weapons? Heck, he's been the best offensive weapon outside of Chris Boswell. And yes, I'm saying Chris Boswell, who's a kicker. He's not even on offense. He's a kicker. George Pickens was your best offensive weapon for the past couple seasons, and you get rid of him. I mean, at least I would have liked to have seen DK and Pickens on the same team, and then you put Aaron Rodgers in the mix. Well, that would have been all right to see, I guess, even though I still am not for the Steelers getting Aaron Rodgers. And another reason why this doesn't make any sense to me. They did the same thing last year. Literally the same thing. I don't know what it is with the Steelers' infatuation with getting quarterbacks that are over the hill, man. Like, seriously. Russell Wilson clearly past his prime. I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback right now, but he's clearly past his prime. They got him last season hoping that he could, revive his career because it just did not work out in Denver. It was not working in Denver. And they moved on from him. They went to Bo Nix, and so far it's been good for the Broncos. But back to this Russell Wilson thing. To try to, revive his career, and it didn't work. And in my eyes, now I'm not like a sports scientist or anything like that. Scientist, I meant I forgot what I was gonna say. But anyways, um Russell Wilson's age was kind of starting to show towards the end of the season. During that 3 games in 10 days, it seemed like his age was starting to show, man. And what do the Steelers decide to do? Let's get a quarterback that's even older. That was their move. Hey, Russell Wilson starting to seem like he's showing his age a little bit towards the end of the season. Big losing streak to end off the year. Terrible way to end off the year. Let's get a quarterback that's even older. I don't know, man. I don't know what the Steelers are trying to do. I don't. It's been frustrating, man. It really has been. And look, there's definitely storylines for this season now, and I do believe the NFL probably knew what was going on with the whole Steelers and Aaron Rodgers situation, because there's no reason why you would have put the Packers and the Steelers in prime time. There would have been no reason to. Now there is. Okay, so I'm sure people are going to be hyped for that. I'm not so hyped for that. This season, man, I have very low expectations. Yes, I do now kind of expect them to go slightly above 500, which they do every year. And like I said, that's part of why they're in the situation they're in. So I'm not going to make it seem like, oh, yeah, they're going to go 500 or over 500 like it's a good thing. Maybe it's starting to be a bad thing. They did get Will Howard in the draft, which is cool. And look, there are some benefits to the Steelers getting A-Rod, okay? I'm not going to make it seem like it's just a complete terrible signing, complete F. This is just going to be terrible. I'm not necessarily saying that. Okay, Will Howard can learn from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm assuming that, Aaron Rodgers is going to mentor Will Howard to learn from one of the best quarterbacks of this generation or his generation. That's definitely going to be beneficial for Howard. And I'm not really sure how the Steelers view Howard, if they think he can be the guy. I mean, they did get him in the 5th or 6th round. I kind of forgot, but I actually would like for Howard to be the guy. I really would. And I don't know how he fell so far down in the draft, but we could hopefully that was a steal for the Steelers and getting Will Howard. So yeah, that's one positive. And there's other things too. Can A-Rod help the Steelers finally get over the playoff slump that they've been in? What I mean by that is their playoff losing streak. That's how I should have phrased it. Realistically, no. No, I don't. There's a lot of things wrong with the Steelers. Coaching wise, they have gotten out coached in every single playoff game they have been in since the AFC Championship game in 2016 when they got blown out against New England. Since then, every playoff game they've had, they have been outplayed, outcoached completely. Completely. How is that going to change just by having Aaron Rodgers on the roster? It's not. And again, it's not Aaron Rodgers from even a couple of years ago. This is current day Aaron Rodgers, who kind of struggled last season, and the year before that he tore his ACL. So I do applaud Aaron Rodgers for coming back his Achilles. I do praise Aaron Rodgers a little bit for coming back after tearing your Achilles at his age. That is pretty impressive. That is. But, I mean, this isn't the same Aaron Rodgers, man. It isn't. And this signing is a few years late. If they got him at the time where he was done with the Packers, it would have been a little bit better, I think. Again, I probably still wouldn't have been for it too much, but it definitely would have been better. Now, man, I don't know. The Steelers are not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. They're not. And maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, wow, I'd be really surprised. Very surprised if I'm wrong. But the way I see it, they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Can they be good? Yes, they can be good. They can be. They could even sneak into the playoffs because they're good enough to do that. But even with Rodgers, I don't think they're good enough to be a legit contender or to be a team that could win a Super Bowl. I don't see it. That's why I don't see the point of getting him. I don't. But again, I mean, my take can be completely off. And maybe they do go under 500 with Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? Who knows? Because it's not like the rest of the quarterback room is all that either. I mean, Mason Rudolph, he's been backup quarterback pretty much for his whole career. Then you got Skylar Thompson, which again, the Steelers have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Why do they have 4 quarterbacks on the roster? I don't know. Maybe they got 3 in case Aaron Rodgers didn't go. That's my guess. So 4 quarterbacks, are they going to get rid of one? And obviously the ones that they would get rid of is probably either Mason Rudolph or Skylar Thompson. So I'm not really sure what they're trying to do there because usually 4 quarterbacks on a roster usually doesn't pan out too well. So we'll see with that. And there's other news too. There is other news too to talk about with the Steelers other than Aaron Rodgers signing, which I don't like. Okay. So apparently the Steelers are interested in getting tight end Kyle Pitts from Atlanta. Now, I guess they called Atlanta asking about Pitts, their asking price or whatever. Why are we interested in Kyle Pitts? Why? The Steelers have 2 tight ends, Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. They don't even utilize them. They don't utilize their tight ends. Why are we interested in getting another tight end? Are you going to trade Darnell Washington to Atlanta? Or are you going to trade Pat Freiermuth away? If you're trying to get Kyle Pitts, I don't get it. I don't get it. And it's not like Freiermuth or Washington are bad tight ends. No, they could be really good tight ends. I mean, we still don't really know what they're truly capable of because they're not really utilized that much. Even Pat Freiermuth, I mean, he's borderline a veteran at this point, at this stage in his career. We still don't know how good of a tight end he could be. The utilization is not there at the tight end position. I don't get why they're interested in a tight end. They put themselves in a situation where they need another receiver, just like they put themselves in the situation where they needed to rely on a 41-year-old quarterback, because I'm hearing people say that was their best option. Aaron Rodgers was their best option, and I completely disagree. Okay? In the sense of he was their best option because they made him his best option. All right? They didn't want Russell Wilson back, which is, I get that. They didn't want Justin Fields back, which I thought would have been the best option for this offseason. People were throwing in Kirk O'Chains, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, quite a few names to be the next quarterback for the Steelers. In my honest opinion, Justin Fields would have been the best guy. And if you still wanted to draft a quarterback, you could have drafted a quarterback still. Justin Fields was cheap. I mean, we saw that with the signing that he got with the contract he got with the Jets. He was going to be cheap. So I don't know what the hesitation was there. They just never put their trust in Fields. And that was evident from the get-go. And I would have just gave him the keys, man. I would have told him that, hey, even if you wanted to give him a 1-year deal to try to prove yourself here, and if that doesn't work out, we have this rookie behind him. That's what they could have done. But instead, they decided to go with Aaron Rodgers instead of Justin Fields in that situation. So, yeah, I mean, they put themselves in some pretty tough situations on the offensive side. It seems I don't know what they're trying to do offensively. I really don't. Arthur Smith is coming back as the coordinator, which I don't hate too much. I don't think he was that bad of a coordinator. I know really don't like him as the Steelers OC. I don't really have too much a problem with Smith. I think I don't know, it's kind of up and down with him. Sometimes he does some pretty good schemes, but sometimes his schemes are not good at all. So I think another year of Arthur Smith, I'm okay with that. Okay. And if I'm being real, I don't think offensive coordinating is the real problem on the coaching staff. I said it. Another thing to point out is now that the Steelers are getting another quarterback, this will be the 5th different season where the Steelers have a different quarterback one starting for the Steelers in week 1. So since 2021, they're going to have 5 different quarterbacks starting week 1. So the first one was obviously Big Ben in his final season. Then you had Mitch Trubisky in 2022, Kenny Pickett 2023, Justin Fields last season, and then this season is projected to be Aaron Rodgers, which another thing I find weird is that he's already the projected starter. Like, I get it, it's Aaron Rodgers, but shouldn't you have him try to fight for the quarterback one spot? I mean, I guess like there's not really much competition, but have something, right? You're just gonna give him the keys like that to be quarterback one? Because it's not like his last season with the Jets was all that great. That's my point of view completely. All right. I don't think he should be set in stone quarterback one. I think it should be a battle at the very least. At the very least. What's up, Steeler Nation Australia? But yeah, other than that, man, there's whoa. Sound kind of got a little iffy there. Or maybe that's just my end, I hope. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me fix that. Hold on, let me mute myself. What the heck? I don't know. Something was wrong with the sound right there. All right. That again. Damn it. Something's weird with the sound. All right, whatever. So, where was I? Right. So the Steelers, I don't know, man. It's kind of like they're kind of like where the Browns were, having all these different starting quarterbacks to start the season. It is crazy. It is crazy. Because I guess the lack of competition. I mean, there was a lot of people saying that Mason Rudolph was just not going to be a good quarterback one, which I would have liked to have seen, because the Steelers organization never tried to give him the keys. I mean, he had a couple of starts when Big Ben was out in 2019, didn't do too well. And even in 2021, didn't do too well either. But then you had that stretch in 2023 where he was playing some pretty good football, and he literally was part of the reason why the Steelers made the playoffs that year. I mean, he turned that season around for the Steelers, and they didn't try to bring him back or anything like that. So I don't know what exactly the organization or Mike Tomlin has against Mason Rudolph, but the fact that he's never gotten a shot is a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me a little bit too well at all. But, you know, there are games. Okay, the Jets game week 1. Are they going to try to make that a late game, or is it still going to be a morning game? That's something I'm interested in knowing as well. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, again, you go back to that thing where they've had a different quarterback starting week 1 since 2021. I mean, they just haven't been able to figure it out. And it's one of those things to point out that Mike Tomlin hasn't developed a quarterback. He hasn't, because Big Ben was already the guy when Tomlin was there. If we're being real, I mean, Cowher was the one that developed Tomlin. You had the thing with Kenny Pickett. That just didn't work. I really would, man. And again, there's so many things like the issues that Aaron Rodgers has. He has publicly thrown certain players under the bus on his team. I just, I mean, we talk about attitude problems with some of the Steeler players, right? Within the past, I going on decade now, the character issues that the Steelers have had. And Aaron Rodgers, again, he has been known to throw people under the bus on a Pat McAfee show, on interviews, things like that. And you're going to bring him onto the team. Like, there is luggage that comes with Aaron Rodgers. Even if he was your best option that you had, since you didn't want to bring back Wilson, or since you didn't want to bring back Fields, even if that was your best option, there is some luggage that's going to go with that. Just saying. Personally, I don't think so either, man. I don't think so either. Like I said, it seemed like his age is starting to show, and every dog has its day. And Father Time is undefeated. So I don't think that it's going to be a complete wreck. Well, it definitely can be, because to see Tomlin and A-Rod on the same team is going to be a little bit crazy. I don't know if how Tomlin's going to do it with Rodgers. I don't know if he's still going to be on the Pat McAfee show from time to time on Tuesdays during the season. I think he's washed too. I mean, like, that's why I don't understand why the Steelers like quarterbacks that are past their prime. I mean, again, I'm not for this. I'm just trying to find some sort of light here. I don't think that he was the best option for the Steelers to win now. I would much rather see the Steelers rebuild than anything else at this point. You know, and there's even things with TJ Watt. He hasn't been to he wasn't at OTAs. He's trying to get a renewed contract. Look, man, I'm going to give a real hot take here. A real hot take. And it's probably not a good take, but I'm just going to say it and throw it out there. The Steelers, I wouldn't be mad if they explore some trade options for TJ Watt. I wouldn't be, because they're so far from getting to that Super Bowl level right now. Like, okay, they're good enough to be relevant enough, but they're not good enough to be on that Super Bowl caliber team yet, you know, to be a legit contender. If you trade Watt now, you can get some good compensation here. And I get it. I love TJ Watt as a Steeler, man. I think he's going to go down as an all-time great if he stays with the Steelers. I want him to stay with the Steelers. But, I mean, it just depends on how big his contract is going to be, because the Steelers already have the highest paid defense in the league. I'm just going to say that as well. And the fact that the Steelers do not really focus on offense is very alarming and very concerning. And that's why they've been on the continuous carousel that they've been on. So we'll see. I mean, they have a lot of draft picks next season for next year when they go to Pittsburgh. So that's going to be interesting. And people are saying that this is a good thing because, you know, you could try to win now and get your quarterback later, but that means you're going to have to trade up to get a quarterback. You know what I mean? So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to pan out either. Unless you think Will Howard's going to be the guy, which again, I hope he is, but there's so many things that we had to see, man. And to give my full prediction on what the Steelers are going to be this season, let's see. Let me go through their schedule one more time. I predict like 9-8 again. I do. Yeah. Okay, that's the one good thing about getting Rodgers is that yeah, Will Howard can learn behind Rodgers, who's one of the best of his generation. You know what I mean? And that could be beneficial to Howard. Um, in my eyes, this is a 1 year thing. There's no reason to bring back Rodgers after this season. That's my point of view. Even if they do good, even if they come close to winning a Super Bowl, there is no real reason to bring him back. At that point, you want to bring in Howard for his second year, have him develop this year, and whatever happens, happens. I don't have high expectations for this year, but whatever happens, Aaron Rodgers can. I think he's done after this year. I don't think he's going to get extended after next season. I just don't think so. The Steelers are making it seem like he's 25. It's crazy. It's insane. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't. Hey man, I'm trying. I'm trying my best to be positive. At the very most, I'm trying to be positive. I I don't think this is going to end well. I think it's going to be similar to what happened with Russell Wilson. Maybe they do start off okay, because the schedule isn't as strong as it was last season. Okay, you still do go to Detroit. You play the Packers, um, the Vikings, depending on how good JJ McCarthy is going to be, and then of course your own division. I mean, your own division isn't a joke. I mean, you got the Browns who are definitely in rebuilding mode, and every other team is still there. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, man. It really is. It's going to be fun to see. I'm not going to lie. It is going to be a little fun to see. Just I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to laugh at it. I really am. Um but what does this mean for Tomlin? If this doesn't work out, what does this mean for Mike Tomlin? Does he stay after Rodgers doesn't work out? Like what where do the Steelers go from here? I genuinely don't know. I don't. So, yeah, man, I'm not going to try to stay on here too long. I'm just going to feel like I'm going to repeat myself over and over again. I don't see this any well. I don't see this any different than any other season because there's still flaws in the coaching staff. There's still flaws within the organization. And my goodness, who knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to try to do with the Steelers. I mean, we saw what he did with the Jets. It was just very cancerous to their locker room and to their organization. Is he going to try to do that with the Steelers? I don't know. I think so, man. I think so. If it doesn't work out, that's really going to show on Tomlin, I believe. I mean, there's been some red flags in Tomlin's game. The fact that there's a lot of players with discipline issues, the fact that they haven't won a playoff game in quite some time, and I guess for some organizations that's fine, right? For some organizations that is all right. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers here, man. This is a story franchise tied with the most Super Bowls in NFL history. I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust with the Steelers, and they have been nowhere near that. The last time they were relevant was in 2020 until they lost to a team without a name. And the last time they were true Super Bowl contenders was in 2017. And they lost their first playoff game. So there's definitely changes that need to come with this organization. Really. Hey man, it's gonna be a little bit tough talking about the Steelers this year. I'm gonna say that. Um, I do plan on going to the game where they play the Chargers out in Inglewood. Um, if they lose every game, if they lose every game this season, just win that one against the Chargers because I will be there. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. Yeah, the Steelers never they never recovered from losing to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game in 2016. They just never recovered. Um, and you could say, well, Le'Veon Bell got injured. I mean, they just got outplayed that game. They got outplayed. They got outcoached. I mean, Tomlin always got outcoached by Bill Belichick, even when the Patriots were terrible. Remember in 2023, the Patriots were terrible. I think they had a 2-win team when the Steelers lost to them. Belichick always had Tomlin's number. Always. Always. Oh, yeah. There's definitely going to be something. I'm telling you. Just having Aaron Rodgers on the team, I'm sure there's going to be storylines there. I really do think so. Maybe there's after week 5, he goes on the Pat McAfee show and throws somebody under the bus. Oh, man. This is what does the organization come to, man? Like, seriously, I don't know. I don't. It's not the Steeler way. Getting a 41-year-old quarterback is not the Steeler way. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers didn't work out, who were they going to get? Who are they? Were they going to call Tom Brady and try to get him out of retirement? Were they going to call Matty Ice, Matt Ryan to come out of retirement? Like, who was your other option that you were going to try to get at quarterback? Oh man, were you going to try to get Big Ben back? Like, really, the Steelers love them some old quarterbacks right now. For real. Yeah, man, he's getting up there. He's definitely getting up there. Well, let's see. Probably. Probably. I mean, again, he's notorious for doing those kind of things, man. He really is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like this one bit. I don't think this is going to be good for the culture, which I don't really know where the Steeler culture even is right now. It just seems like things have been consistently swept under the rug and nobody's really actually tried to highlight the problems within the organization right now. And it's just been when you pile it up for so much, it just continues to rise and rise and rise and rise. That's what's been happening with this organization. So hopefully things change. Hopefully this is going to be a wake-up call. Hopefully. We're gonna have to cheer for Gramps, man. We're gonna have to cheer for Gramps. Okay. Here's what I'll say. If the Steelers win a playoff game this year, I give you my word, I will get a Steelers Aaron Rodgers jersey. If he wins a playoff game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's got to win a playoff game. That is it. So, we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen, though. There's no doubt in my mind that the Steelers are either going to go 9-8, 10-7, first round exits because there's just so many other things that have to happen within this team and organization, man. For real. You'll get a Will Howard jersey if A-Rod wins a Super Bowl. Hey, man, I say that because I genuinely don't think it's going to happen. I want it to happen, all right? It's not that I want the Steelers to do bad. I want the Steelers to be what they were in the 70s and in the 2000s and very early 2010s. I want them back there. But they're just there's no sign of hope for them to get back there right now. There's no sign right now at all. I'm just saying it, man, because that would be just insane. It's just I give it like 0.01% chance of happening that the Steelers win a playoff game with A-Rod. Ooh, that's a good question. Do I think he plays 17 games? Okay, he's still coming off of that torn Achilles. He had that happen in 2023, right? He didn't play 17 games last season, so it's been a while since he played 17 games. Short answer, no. No, I don't think that happens. I think he plays half the season, maybe, and then they turn to Mason Rudolph or Will Howard. I got it. Here's what happens. He plays half the season, right? Then he goes on a complete rant on the Pat McAfee show. All right. Steelers are probably 2-6, maybe 3-5 at this point of the season. He just throws everybody under the bus. And then finally, they decide to put in either Will Howard or Mason Rudolph. That is how Aaron Rodgers gets benched. Tell me that's not realistic. Tell me that's not a realistic way for him to get benched. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, man. It really is. So, I mean, Steeler Nation is pretty split on this. Some people within Steeler Nation actually like the fact that they got Rodgers. I'm on the side of not liking it. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. It really is. It's going to be this is a circus, man. This is a real circus. I was supposed to watch the Dodger game in the background, but I guess they're on rain delay over there in St. Louis. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch, but not in a good way. Not in a good way. That's how I see it. It's going to be fun to watch, but just like more of a circusy way. Yeah, I agree. And that's why they're going to get some primetime games. Maybe they even get more late games at that. I mean, that game in Dublin is going to be pretty cool, man. I do like the fact that they're going to be going to Ireland because, I mean, they deserve it. Ireland's been calling for a game out there specifically for the Steelers because they have a big fan base. And, yeah, I mean, that's going to be cool for them. I don't like him. I still think he plays well. Win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't really like him either. His leadership, I'm not sure if it's gonna fit with the Steelers schemes. Do the Steelers try to get another old receiver? Because that's the speculation going on as well. Since the Steelers didn't want to keep Pickens, they're gonna get another old receiver. Do they try to trade for Devontae Adams? Do they try to get Lazard? That's a name that's thrown out there. Not sure why, but yeah, I think this offense struggles as it usually has been for the past. Man, I'm trying to think. When was the last time the Steelers had a good offense? 2018? That was the last time the Steelers had like a really good top 5 offense. I guess 2020 was a decent offense. Yeah, they've been throwing out some rumors. They could have just kept Pickens, man. They could have just kept Pickens. I get it. He has a problem as well. He's had problems as well with the team, but I would be frustrated if I was a Steelers offensive player too. If I was a Steeler receiver, I would be frustrated as well. That's all I'm saying there. I agree. He's definitely up there as one of the best backups in the league. I would have been completely fine if they would have just kept Mason in there. I really would have been. If he did bad, he did bad. Screw it. I mean, you at least gave him a shot. That was my point of view in that whole situation. Since you never gave him a shot, finally give him his shot. If he does bad, you have a down season, so freaking be it. I don't believe so. I think they're still. Let me look that up real quick. I think they're still on the table. They say he's not fully healthy. That's the report here. So he's not ready to sign because he's not fully healthy. But yet the Steelers had some interest in getting him. Yeah, he could definitely be on the table, but with what I'm seeing right here, he's off the board as of right now because of his availability. Okay. So I'm from Southern California, right? And believe it or not, there's actually quite a few Steelers fans out here. Um, there's a big, there's a big Steelers fan base out here. Definitely within the top. There's definitely more Steelers fans than Rams fans. I know that sounds weird. There's more Steelers fans in Southern California than there are Ram fans, I believe. More Steelers fans than Charger fans. They're about top 4 in fan bases. I mean, Southern California, there's just a bunch of different fan bases out here because there wasn't a team out here for so long. So it's kind of just a mixture of a lot. The Raiders have the biggest, but when I became a Steelers fan is well, my dad's a Steelers fan, so that definitely influenced that a lot too. And I was 6 when the Steelers went to the Super Bowl when they played the Packers. They were doing good, man. So I'm like, all right, my dad's a Steelers fan. They're doing good. They're in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna become a Steelers fan. Little did I know that would be the last time to date that I would see them in the Super Bowl. But that's really how I became a Steelers fan. Troy Polamalu is one of my favorite Steelers of all time. Even though I saw like the very tail end of his career, obviously Big Ben is up there. Antonio Brown would have been up there as well, but then he kind of had his situations out there. Yeah, there are a lot of 49er fans. It's just a mixture. I mean, the Raiders have the biggest. Niners have a big fan base out here too. The Chargers have started to gain a little bit more of a fan base here, but it's still like, I don't know, top. It's probably in the top 10 now. Even the Dolphins have a decent fan base out here, but it's very mixed out here. And again, it's because there wasn't a team. I mean, I guess the Chargers were in San Diego, but there wasn't really much of a team out here for a while. That's why I think it's mixed. Oh yeah, Palomalo was definitely one of my favorite. That game in San Diego. I remember that game, man. I remember that game. Now my first Steelers game I ever went to was in 2019, the first time they played the Chargers in LA or in Carson. Um, Honestly, that was my favorite game I've ever been to. It was a really small stadium, and I think that made the experience even better. That was the first time they came out here since I don't know how long. It was very, I don't know, the Steelers fans. There was a bunch of Steelers fans there. I mean, it caught a lot of media attention from what I remember. Even that game in San Diego, the Steelers fans, Steelers Nation completely took over Colcom Stadium. I remember seeing that. It was crazy. It was crazy. Um, Mike Vick being a Steeler. That was a lot of people didn't like that, man. A lot of people didn't like Mike Vick as a Steeler. I remember the controversy there. hmm But yeah, I'm not very stoked about this season. Not at all. I do believe so. I do believe Steeler Nation is the best fan base in all of the NFL. All right, and I will have an argument with anybody on that. I will challenge anybody on that. All right. We are not nationwide. We are not continent wide. We are worldwide Steeler nation. Not everybody could say that. I didn't really mind him either. I mean, that the whole thing with the dog situation was years after, or I'm sorry, before that. I mean, that was really his last hurrah. I don't think he was where this was the Steelers his last team he was with. Mike Vick, I think so. I think that was the last team he played for. But I mean, he only had playing time because Big Ben got hurt. I remember that. I think that was the last team he played for. But oh well. I mean, who knows how his career could have been? I mean, he probably could have been one of the best to ever do it. Mike Vick, as far I mean, he had all the um, skills and everything to be one of the best. I mean, really, but he just that whole situation kind of really ruined his career for a while. So I mean, that's that. And then I mean, he did all right with the Eagles. I think so, but I mean, he had what a stint with the Jets. I mean, he kind of bounced around after that. So yeah, he really had the assets, man. Vic really had the assets to be an all-time great. He really did. Yeah, same thing. Same thing with Antonio Brown. Like I said, AB when he was in his prime was my favorite Steelers player. Well, maybe not above Troy Polamalu, but he definitely would have been one of my favorites of all time. Yeah, was that I think that was in Washington, right? I mean, he had a heck of an arm. He had the speed. Again, he had all the accolades that you needed. He really did. But yeah, that's really all I had to say, I believe. Let's see. Yeah. Do the Steelers figure it out at the quarterback position? What needs to change? In your guys' eyes, what needs to change for the Steelers to finally figure it out with the quarterback situation? Have they figured it out? Can Will Howard be the guy? I mean, A-Rod could potentially do something in Pittsburgh, but he's not going to be the guy. He's not going to be the guy to lead the charge for the next 10 years. It could be Will Howard. Are they going to try to draft someone in next year's draft in the first round? And if that's the case, they're either going to need to do bad this season or they're going to need a trade up. So what do the Steelers need to do? I'm starting to run out of ideas here because it seems like they're against completely tanking, which is part of the reason why you can't find that franchise guy. Because you're always going to be in that situation where you're the 20th pick, maybe 18th at best, when you're always consistently in the cycle of barely above 500. You're not going to be able to get that franchise guy at the 20th pick. I mean, we saw that with Kenny Pickett, right? So there's definitely something that needs to happen. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Maybe they should move on from Tomlin. Maybe they should move on from, or maybe it's something in the front office. Like I don't know exactly what the problem is, but there definitely is a problem, a bigger issue than just the quarterback situation. So even wide receiver court, can DK be the next great wide receiver for the Steelers? I mean, he did really good in Seattle, but they're paying him a lot, man, to be the wide receiver one for the Steelers. You know, he's amongst one of the highest paid receivers now, DK Metcalf. And that was before he even played a snap. They extended him before he even played a snap. So did the Broncos. Right? If you guys don't remember, the Broncos gave Russell Wilson a huge contract. Or not necessarily a huge contract, but a pretty decent sized contract before he even played a snap in Denver. That didn't work out. Okay. DK Metcalf, I get it's a completely different situation. Right? He is coming from Seattle, though. See where I'm getting at here? But I think DK should work out. He's a very explosive receiver. Um, Very strong receiver. It's just who's going to really throw him the ball for the next couple of seasons. I mean, I guess you have your answer for this year, I guess. How about the years following? I don't know. That's all I really had to say on here, man. I actually went a lot longer than I thought I was. Dang. But this season's gonna be fun. This season's gonna be fun, and I think fun and not in a not so good way. But I'm excited nonetheless for the season to start. Um, how do you guys feel on this season? You guys feeling good? Can the Steelers get that playoff win? I'm not too optimistic about it, but you guys can let me know. As for this one, guys, I'm going to head out of here. I will be starting a series on each team, each NFL team, on why I think they won't be making the Super Bowl. Last year, I did something different. I did why each team could make the Super Bowl. Now I'm flipping it around. All right. I'll probably start with the Eagles first because it's probably going to be a little bit easier to do. Oh, I'm sorry. This is probably going to be the hardest one to do. And then I'll do the Steelers last, obviously. But yeah, that's something to keep an eye out. And that's something that I will be doing throughout the rest of the offseason. And if there's any other offseason news for the Steelers, I most definitely will talk about it. As for this one, guys, that's about it. And I'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a good weekend.